Bonjour. Thanks for joining the French Foundation course. I'm delighted. Here's a quick look at the lessons. In this section on About the French language, we will look at some features of the language. Then, we will look at words borrowed from and by the French language. We then look at words that look similar but have a different meaning to English, and then words that look similar and have the same meaning as in English. At the end of this lesson, you will realize you know more French than you think. Then the section on basics, where we start with the French alphabet, like we did in school, then vowels and consonants. Knowing these will help you with written French and pronouncing words correctly. Then we look at French accents and signs, which change the meaning and pronunciation of words. This is followed by lessons on punctuation and case. There is a section on difficult sounds. This section teaches you tricks to work on the French R, the French U, the French G and J sounds, which are often daunting to new learners. We have a section on useful basic vocabulary. Here, we will look at the vocabulary of colors, days, months, numbers from 0 to 10, and some general useful vocabulary. Along with their pronunciation, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to recognize and use this simple vocabulary both in written and spoken French. Finally, there is a translation exercise that brings together all that you've learned through the course. An answer key to check your answers is provided too. I have provided some reading references for basic French. Finally, this course will help you get started on your French language journey. I hope you enjoy the course. À bientôt.
Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Before we begin our learning journey, a few things to keep in mind. The assumption is that you are a complete beginner, or at least someone who has learned French a long time ago, maybe in high school, and would like a refresher. I emphasize this so those who know a bit of the language don't get bored and regret having paid for the course. French words used in a lesson are taught using the English script. For example, cat, which is chat in French, is taught using the English script SHA, and I've designed this to make learning pronunciation easy. And at the end, we have a translation exercise which will bring together all that we've learned through this course. And last but not the least, I hope to get enthusiastic participation from you. Please do ask questions. I will reply within the day. And of course, go and do some self-learning. À bientôt. See you soon.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
A benefit of the course is that the pronunciation of each and every French word used in a lesson is written out using the English script. For example, the French word for the cat will be shown as chat, S-H-A, chat. This pronunciation guide shows you how some common and difficult sounds are represented in this course. The French word for pronunciation is La prononciation. La prononciation. La prononciation. There are dashes and words in the pronunciation guide in each lesson. These tell you to pause instead of rushing through the pronunciation of the entire word. For example, January is janvier, which is written as janvier. Janvier. You can pick up the pace once you've learnt the pronunciation of this word properly. Janvier. Janvier. Now, let's look at the sounds and how they're represented in the pronunciation guide. The first one, J, is represented as JSH. J, JSH. J. U is represented as EW. U. U. EW. AN, AM, EN, EM all have the same sound and they're represented as O, O. IN, IM, YN, YM in a word are all have the same sound and they are represented as A with nasal. I've marked the nasal sounds in brackets here and the word nasal appears as well. So you know it's a nasal sound. ON and OM is OH nasal. UN and UM is OI. This is a tricky one. OI is represented as WA, WA. ER is represented as AY, A. LE is represented as LE, LUH, LE. La is represented as LA, La. Fairly simple, La. LES has got two sounds. One is lay and then lays. You will understand this a bit later with liaison in a future course. Lay and lays.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Aarti.
We will now look at some features of the French language. Both the French language and English share the written script. This means that an English speaker can actually read the French word even if he or she does not have a French accent. Written French and spoken French are like two different languages. So the French that you read in a textbook is not the French that you would hear on the street. There are many grammar rules as well as exceptions to these rules to be followed in both written and spoken French. There are differences in the French accent as you move across France and other French-speaking countries. Also, there is a difference in accent and word usage between the old and the young. There is use of slang and colloquialism too. The endings in words are often not pronounced, as you will learn going forward. Both living and non-living objects have a gender. They are either masculine or feminine in French. French is an interesting and challenging language. The French language is only as difficult or as easy as you make it out to be. And lastly, I may be biased when I say this, But French is a language that is worth learning. You will not regret it.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
French is not completely alien as a language to an English speaker. We do use many French words in English. For example, eau de parfum and bon voyage are often used by us. Here are a few words the English language has borrowed from the French language. Bon voyage, à la carte, bon appétit, pièce de résistance, carte blanche, déjà vu, c'est la vie, plat du jour, joie de vivre, rendez-vous, tête à tête, faux pas. Now, let's look at a few words the French language has borrowed from the English language. These words have the same meaning, but they have the French pronunciation. Cool, check up, shopping, pyjama, best of, look, boss, planning, sandwich, divan, best-seller, weekend.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Today, we look at false friends or faux amis. These are French words that look the same or similar to English but have a different meaning. Now let's look at that list. We start with bras. No, not Victoria's Secret, but it means arms in French. Bras means arms. Next, travailler, to work. Travailler. Sympathique, friendly or nice. Rester, coin. You can see how similar they look to some of the words we have in English, but their meaning is completely different. Coin, monnaie, gentil, librairie, journée, grand, sensible, lecture.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Across English and French, there are words that share the same meaning in both languages. Let's have a look at that list. Lampe, parent, famille, couleur, lettre. See how they mean the same across both languages? But their spelling does differ. Some a lot, some a little bit only. Moving on. Restaurant, professeur, taxi, papier, date, accent, garage. And if you come across more words, I invite you to share them in the comment section of the course.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
As in English, the French alphabet has 26 letters. Let's look at them more closely. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. That's how the French alphabet sounds. Let's look at some features of the letters of the alphabet. We begin A, straightforward. A. B is bay. Here the E sound in English becomes A in French. Bay. Same for C, which becomes say. Again, D becomes they. So it's A, B, say, they. E is F, same as in English. F. G sounds like J, 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 like in treasure or measure. J, J. H is ash, ash. It begins with an A sound, ash, not H, because H is always silent in French. I is E, E, E in English. I sounds like E, E. J is sounded G, same like G, which was J. J is G, like treasure. G. It's almost like G and J are swapped around. G becomes J in French, and J in English becomes G in French. K is ka. It's rarely used in French except in words of foreign origin like koala or ketchup. L, M, same as in English. L, M. N, same as in English. O, again, same as English. So L, M, N, O remain the same in English and French. P becomes pay. E in English becomes A in French. P has become pay. Q is Q. Q. R is air. Air. S, it remains the same as English. S. T, it's the E sound, so it becomes A. T becomes te. U, U becomes U. We form this sound by saying O first. So the lips are in O shape, and then we say E through it. U, U. V, V, W becomes W, W. This letter in English is W. In French, it is W. Again, it's rarely used except in words of foreign origin like whiskey or weekend. X is X, Y, Y, Y. Z is Z, Z. Now, let's see some words with these sounds. A, ami, ami. B, bonjour, bonjour. C, café, café. D, décembre, décembre. E, le. F, France, France. G, gare, gare. H, homme, homme. I, 10, 10, J, juillet, juillet, K, ski, ski, L, lit, lit, M, merci, merci, N, neuf, neuf, O, octobre, octobre, P, porte, porte, Q, Q, banque, banque, R,
rouge, rouge,
S, sel, sel, T, train, train, U, tu, tu, V is vers, vers, W, weekend, weekend, X, taxi, taxi, Y, Y, Z.
zéro, zéro.
We've come to the end of our lesson. Please remember, the 26 letters of the French alphabet are the same as in English. There are 6 letters that change E sound in English, like B, C, D, to B, C, D. There are 6 letters that remain the same in French as in English. L, M, N. The sound G becomes like J and J becomes like G. The letter K is rarely used in French except in words like koala and ketchup. The same thing with W or W. The letter W in English is W. In French, it is double V. A small exercise before you go. Can you spell your name aloud with the French letters? I'll give it a go. A, R, T, I.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the French vowels and consonants. A vowel is a letter of the alphabet that makes a sound when alone or in combination with other letters. In French, there are oral and nasal vowels. There are 6 vowels from the 26 letters of the alphabet. The French word for vowels is les voyelles, les voyelles, les voyelles. Let's see what the vowels are. In English, it's A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. And in French, it's the same. A, E, I, O, U, and Y. So it's the sound that they make is A is A, E is U, I is E, O, U is U, and Y is E. So it's A, U, E, O, U, E. Now let's see what the nasal vowels are like. These nasal sounds are made from the nose. Nasal vowels are vowels A, E, I, O, U and Y followed by M or N. This combination with the M or N has a nasal sound. However, when there are 2 N's or 2 M's together, this sound is not nasal. The nasal combinations in French are AN and AM, which make the sound on. On. So it's like saying awning, but just the AWN of awning makes the on sound. On. EN and EM make the same sound. On. On. IN, IM, YN, YM make the sound ah. Ah. Think of an and stop short of saying the N. So you say ah, ah, va blanc, va, ah. The next one is ON and OM. The sound that it makes is, this combination makes the sound on, bon, on. Next, we have UN and UM, which makes the sound on. So once more, AN, AM make the sound on. EN and EM make the sound on. This combination of IN, IM, YN, YM in a word makes the sound am. The combination ON or OM in a word makes the sound and UN, UM make the sound on. Lastly, please do remember that French accents are placed on vowels to change their pronunciation or meaning. We look at that in a future lesson. Let's look at consonants now. The French word for consonants is les consonnes. Les consonnes. Les consonnes. There are 26 letters of the alphabet, of which 6 are vowel sounds. The other 20 letters of the alphabet are consonants. Consonants are usually accompanied by a vowel. Final consonants in French are generally silent, but there are exceptions. Some final consonants are pronounced. Let's take a look at those. Q, like in cinq, 5, cinq. C, like in avec, with, avec. K, like in look, which is look. B, snob, like the English snob, snob. R, in four, which means the oven, four. F, like in neuf, neuf. L, in journal, journal. Vin Bong and others in the textbook Liaison have a great acronym, quick, be careful. So if you remove the vowels and the consonants that remain are pronounced. But this is French, so do remember there are always exceptions to the rule. So, key points about consonants. The final consonant is pronounced in words borrowed from other languages, like le weekend, snob. Final consonants are pronounced in numbers, like cinq or six. Final consonants are pronounced in proper names, like asterisk.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the French accents. French accents are marks or signs made on the top or bottom of a vowel or consonant. There are 4 accents for vowels and 1 for the consonant. These accents serve to distinguish the sounds of the vowels, and these accents change the way a word is pronounced. The French word for accents is les accents. Les accents. The first accent we will look at is called accent aigu or acute accent in English. This accent can be found only on the letter E. This accent is a small dash placed on top of the letter E, which starts from the left and goes upwards. It changes the sound of letter E. Normally, E is sounded as E, but with this accent, it is sounded like A in 8. A. It is represented as AY in this lesson. A. This is the easiest of the signs and is used the most often. Let's look at some examples. The first one, été, été, which is summer, été. Next, café, café, coffee or cafe. Bébé, baby, bébé. The next accent is the grave accent, or in French, accent grave. This accent can be found on the letters A, E, and U. This accent goes in the opposite direction of the previous accent, the acute accent. This accent is a dash placed on the letter, and the dash starts from the right and goes upwards. Let's look at some examples. The grave accent grave is sounded as A in let or get. A. Très, très. Very. Père, father. Très, very. Très. Père, père, father. Frère, brother. Frère. The use of both the acute and grave accent can be seen in the word déjà, déjà, which means already. Déjà. We saw how accent grave works on the letter E. Now let's see how it works on A and U. The letter A with accent grave, A, means to or at. A. The letter A without accent grave means has. It's the third person singular form of the verb avoir. A. Has. The letter U with accent grave means where. Where are you? Where? U without the accent grave means or. Coffee or milk, or. So you see, when used on A or U, the accent grave helps make a distinction between words. Their meaning is totally different, but the pronunciation is the same. The sound does not change. The next accent is l'accent circonflexe or the circumflex accent. Accent circumflex. It can be found on A, E, I, O, and U. The formation of the circumflex accent or accent circonflexe in French is a combination of accent grave and accent aigu. It looks like a little hat placed on the vowel. This accent usually means an omission of some letter, usually S, from the word. Let's look at some examples. Pâte, l'accent circonflexe on the letter A. Pâte, which means paste. Pâte. Être on E. Être means to be. Île is island, hôte is host, croûte, crust, croûte. Next is le tréma, le tréma. It's also called the diaresis or umlaut, and it can be found on EIU and is written as two dots over the vowel. It shows that the vowel on which it is placed, the two dots is placed, is pronounced separately from the vowel before it. So it needs to have two vowels next to each other, and the tréma is normally placed on top of the second vowel. Let's look at some examples. With the letter E, no L, no L. Can you see how E is pronounced separate to O? Noël, which is Christmas. Noël. I with tréma is maïs, 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 which means corn, sweet corn. Without the tréma, M-A-I-S, mais means but, mais. But it's with the tréma, so it will be mais, mais. So you can see how placing or not placing of some of these signs actually is a mistake in spelling, changes the meaning of the sentence or the word completely. Next, these were for the vowels. We'll check out a sign for the consonant, which is cedilla, la cedi, la cedi. It's like a little S under the letter C, and it is only ever found under the letter C, not on any other letter. When C is written as C with the cedilla or la cedi, it sounds as S. So let's look at some examples. Français, français. Without the cedilla, it would have been franquais, and that's not right. So français. Next, reçu, reçu. Leçon, leçon. Please note that the C is not written as C cedilla or with the cedi to sound as the S in front of an E or an I. That's because the S sound is already built in. For example, fiancé. C in front of E is pronounced S. So fiancé or merci, merci. Now let's see a couple of words with and without la cedi. Comme si, the S sound s is built into the word si. Comme si, ci. Comme ça, here we use the cedilla, la cedi, to bring in the S sound. France, France, the C in front of E, it has the sound France, but here we've had to employ la cedi, français, français. These accents are part of written French, and missing writing them is a mistake in spelling. There is a school of thought on whether to use accents over capital letters or not. Some use it, some don't. Here's a quick view on all the accents and la cedi.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the French punctuation. The punctuation signs are the same across English and French, but some uses are different, which we will see in later courses. The French word for punctuation is la ponctuation. La ponctuation. La ponctuation. Let's look at the punctuation signs. Full stop, is le point, le point, le point, comma, la virgule, la virgule, la virgule, semicolon, le point et virgule, le point et virgule, le point et virgule. 3 dots, les points de suspension, les points de suspension, les points de suspension, round brackets, les parenthèses, les parenthèses, les parenthèses, question mark, le point d'interrogation, le point d'interrogation, le point d'interrogation, exclamation mark, le point d'exclamation, le point d'exclamation, square brackets, les crochets, dash, le tiret, le tiret. The dash in French is generally used to note change of speaker in a written dialogue. Quotation mark is les guillemets, colon, les deux points, hyphen, le trait d'union, apostrophe, l'apostrophe.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the French case, capital and small letters, or uppercase and lowercase. We start the lesson with uppercase, also known as capital letters in English. The word for uppercase in French is majuscule. Please note that the final S is not pronounced in majuscule. Let's see where the uppercase is used. Like English, the uppercase is used at the beginning of a sentence. In the sentence, le chat est sur la table, L takes capital because it is at the start of the sentence. Then again, like English, proper names take uppercase, like the name Pierre. Inhabitants take capital, like in Français, which is the Frenchman, Français, or Française, which is French woman. Uppercase or capital letters are not as widely used in French as in English. Now, let's look at lowercase or small letters. The French word for lowercase is minuscule. The final S is not pronounced in minuscule. Let's see how the lowercase is used in French. Lowercase or small letters are widely used in French more than it is in English. In French, I, which is je, takes the uppercase only at the start of a sentence, unlike I in English, which is always uppercase. So in this sentence, moi, je vais bien, me, I am fine, the je, the J of je is in lowercase because it does not start the sentence. It's in the middle of the sentence, so it takes the lowercase. In English, the I always takes an uppercase. The other cases of the lowercase are when names of the days of the week or months of the year are used. Names of days of the week like Saturday, Samedi, Samedi, or March, Mars, Mars is always lowercase unless it starts the sentence. Inhabitants take capital, but languages take the lowercase in French, like Français, the French language Français, but Français took a capital when you had to say Frenchman, Français. Next, adjectives of nationality, which means when you want to say a French textbook or the Spanish textbook. So you would say lowercase there. Le livre français. Français here is used as an adjective. The French textbook. Le livre français. There are other instances of how lowercase is used in French, which we will look at in future courses.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the French R sound. A little about the R sound. The R sound seems daunting at first to new learners, but it is not impossible to master it. You will find this frequently in French words. Please keep in mind that this sound will require more practice than other sounds. The R sound depends where you come from in France. This is a sound that's made in the throat. It's a bit raspy. There is strong and weak R depending on its position in a word. Let's begin. How do you produce the R sound? I've listed 4 methods here. You can choose the method that best suits you. These methods will help you produce the R sound. Please be aware that these methods are only to help you recognize where in your throat the R sound comes from and how the French R sounds like. The sound produced by these methods are exaggerated. It will be exaggerated initially when you first start off, but then eventually the sound will come naturally to you. I've listed 4 methods here. Let's do method 1 first. Say k, kh, k, k, like Khaled or Khan, k, k. Recognize where the k sound is coming from in your throat. K, k. That's the space where the R sound comes from. So, let's start by saying k, k. Then move on to say r, r. K, k, h, h. Now say h, h, h. You should practice ha, hi, ho, ha, hi, ho, ha, hi, ho. The other method is gargling, what is called gargling the R sound. Take a glass of water and gargle. When you gargle, you can hear the R sound. Now try it without the water in your mouth. That's the French R. The third method is growling like an angry dog or roaring like a lion. And method 4 is saying throw or throat, but with a stronger R. Throw, throat, throat, throat. This is only to help you recognize where in your throat the R sound comes from. However, you would not pronounce words with such an exaggerated R sound. At the beginning of this lesson, I did mention that there is strong and weak R. Let's see how those work. R at the beginning or towards the beginning of a word is sounded more strongly. It is very audible, like in these words. First one, rouge, red, rouge, riche, rich, riche, arriver, to arrive, arriver, train, train, train. It's a bit nasal as well. Train, orange, orange, the orange color or the fruit, orange. Then we have grand, grand, meaning big or tall, rose, which means pink, rose. These are the examples where R is heard very strongly. That's always at the beginning of a word or towards the beginning. Now for the weak R. The weak R, I also call it the dry R, and it occurs when R is the final letter in a word. It is less audible and it sounds a bit dry. In words such as bonjour, bonjour, you say it, but it's not very audible. It's very dry. Soir, soir, which is evening. Soir, voir, to see. Voir, voir, voir. Couleur, couleur. I hope you could hear the difference between the strong R like rouge and a slightly weak or dry R in soir. When we did the lesson on consonants, we did learn that R is a final consonant that is pronounced, but there are exceptions. It is French, please remember. There are exceptions to that rule, and the R is not pronounced in words that end in ER. This list of words are mostly verbs like danser, to dance, danser, chanter, chanter. The ER has an A sound like AY, danser, chanter. Then we have parler, which is to speak, parler, aimer, which is to love or like, aimer. We do not pronounce ER, and the same holds true for IER. We do not pronounce the R in IER. Instead, it has the A sound. Papier, papier, which means paper. Clavier, which means keyboard. Clavier, clavier. Cahier, which means notebook. Cahier.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the U sound. This is not a sound we have in English, and it does seem daunting to new learners. But it is quite easy to produce this sound. Let me show you how. Say O, keep your lips rounded. Now, purse your lips like you want to say watch. Now, say E through it. You should hear U, U, U. The U sound is represented as EW in this lesson. Now let's see some examples. The first one, music, 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 music. Next, sucre, sucre, tu, tu. Autobus, which means bus, autobus, autobus. Lecture, lecture, which means reading. Lecture.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the J and G sounds in French. I'm sure you remember the sounds of J and G from our lesson on the alphabet. G is sounded as J and J is sounded G. Here are a few things you need to remember about the G and J in French. The French J is sounded je, like you hear in English words très je, mais je, et je. Je.
J takes the je sound in words beginning or containing J.
Like in these examples. Jaune, jeudi, joli, bonjour. Once again, jaune, jeudi, joli, bonjour. Je. Whenever you see a J in a French word, be sure to remember sounds like je. Now let's look at G. G has the j sound when G is followed by E, by an I, or a Y. Let's look at the first example. Gentil means kind. Here the G is in front of E and the final L is not sounded. Gentil, gentil. Aubergine, aubergine is eggplant and G here is in front of I. Aubergine. Gymnast is gymnast and G is in front of Y. Gymnast. So remember, G has the j sound when G is followed by E, I, or Y. Next, where G is followed by A, O, U, or a consonant, the G sounds like the English words girl, good, or get. G. It's got the G sound. Let's look at some examples. Gare, gare, which means station. It's followed by an A. Gare. Gomme, gomme, which means eraser. You can see it's followed by an O. Gomme. Guitare, guitare is followed by an U, and grand, which means big or tall, is followed by the consonant R. Don't worry too much right now about which vowel follows G to alter sounds between j and g. As you read and listen more, you will choose the right sound.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers general useful vocabulary that you can use in your conversations. Some of you might know these words already, but let's start. The word for vocabulary in French is le vocabulaire. Le vocabulaire. So let's start. Yes, oui, no is non, non. Good morning, hello, or good day. We know this word. Bonjour, bonjour. Goodbye. Au revoir, au revoir. Or you could even say au revoir, au revoir. But R is normally silent when you're saying au revoir. So in informal conversations and when you're talking, it's au revoir, au revoir. Fine. Bien, bien. very good is très bien, très bien. Thank you is merci, merci. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup. Sir or gentleman is monsieur, monsieur. In monsieur, the final R is never pronounced. Gentleman in plural is messieurs, messieurs. When addressing an adult woman, whether married or unmarried, out of respect, you would say madame, madame, madame. More than one woman, you would say mesdames, mesdames. A young girl, equivalent of miss in English, is mademoiselle, mademoiselle. More than one girl, mademoiselle, mademoiselle. An informal hello is salut, salut. An informal bye is also salut, salut, salut. Pleased to meet you. Enchanté, enchanté, enchanté. When the speaker is male or female, pleased to meet you in French is enchanté, enchanté. But in written communication, you would add an extra E when the speaker is female. But when you pronounce it, it's the same. Enchanté, enchanté. See you soon. À bientôt, à bientôt. See you shortly, within an hour or in the same day, is à tout à l'heure, à tout à l'heure. Me too in French is moi aussi, moi aussi, moi aussi. Not bad, pas mal, pas mal. With pleasure, avec plaisir, avec plaisir. You're welcome. De rien, think nothing of it. De rien, de rien. Please has two forms. One's an informal and one is formal. S'il te plaît, please. Informal, please. S'il te plaît. And the formal please is s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. Good evening. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Have a nice evening. Bonne soirée, bonne soirée. Have a nice day. Bonne journée, bonne journée. Good night. Bonne nuit, bonne nuit.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Aarti.
Our lesson today covers French numbers from 0 to 10. Let's begin. The word for numbers in French is les nombres. Les nombres. Les nombres. Let's begin counting. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0 is 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Now let's look at the pronunciation closely. Zéro, zero, zéro. Un is one, it's nasal. Un, deux, two, deux. Three is trois, trois. Four, quatre, quatre. Cinq is five, cinq. Six is six, six. Seven, sept, sept. Eight is huit, huit. The H is never pronounced in French, so we start with huit, huit. Nine is neuf, neuf. 10 is dix, dix. Once more, zéro, un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Aarti. Our lesson today covers colors in French. Let's begin. The word in French for color is la couleur. La couleur. Colors is les couleurs. Les couleurs. Every color in French has a masculine and feminine form. Some colors remain the same in spelling and pronunciation. Some change a bit. Let's see the list of colors. I'll announce the color in English first, followed by its masculine form and then feminine. White, blanc, blanche. Blanc in masculine, blanche in feminine. It gets an HE added to the masculine form. Blanc, blanche. Purple, violet, violette. Violet adds a TE and forms the feminine form violette. Violet, violette. Grey is gris in masculine, gris, grise, gris, grise. Green is vert, verte, vert, verte. It gets an E added to the masculine form. Black is the same, an E added in the feminine form. Noir, noir. It remains the same in pronunciation. Noir, noir. Same with blue. It gets an E added in the feminine form. Bleu, bleu. Bleu, bleu. Let's look at some more. Now on this slide are the colors that do not change across masculine and feminine. Brown, marron, marron. Red, rouge, rouge. Yellow, jaune, jaune. Pink, rose, rose. Orange, orange, orange.
Colors become masculine or feminine in French depending on the gender of the object being described. Colors are used in two different ways in French. One is to state the obvious, like something is of a certain color. For example, the book is white. Le livre est blanc. Le livre est blanc. The blouse is white. La chemise est blanche. La chemise est blanche. Le livre est blanc, masculine, because livre is book masculine. So it takes the white color masculine form. The blouse is feminine, so it takes the feminine form of the color white. La chemise est blanche. Another way of using color is when colors are used as an adjective. They are placed after the noun in French. Unlike in English, where you say the white book or the white blouse, white as an adjective is placed before the nouns book or blouse. But in French, it is placed after the noun. Let's take a look. The white book in French is le livre blanc. Le livre blanc. White agrees with the masculine noun. Book, livre, is masculine. The white blouse is la chemise blanche. La chemise blanche. So as you can see, colors become masculine or feminine depending on the gender of the object being described.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the days of the week. The day in French is le jour. Le jour. The days in plural is les jours. Les jours. The week, la semaine. La semaine. The weeks, les semaines. Les semaines. Weekend, le weekend. Le weekend. Now let's look at the days of the week. Monday, lundi, Tuesday, mardi, Wednesday, mercredi, Thursday, jeudi, Friday, vendredi, Saturday, samedi, Sunday, dimanche. Now let's look at the pronunciation closely. Monday is lundi, lundi. Tuesday, mardi, mardi. Wednesday, mercredi, mercredi. Pay attention to the R sounds in this one. Mercredi. Jeudi. Thursday is jeudi. Vendredi, vendredi. Saturday is samedi, samedi. Sunday is dimanche, dimanche. Let's read them again. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. Days take the lowercase in French, except if a sentence starts with the day of the week.
That's it from me. Au revoir. Bonjour. Welcome to Learn French with Tati.
Our lesson today covers the months of the year in French. As we go through the lesson, please notice the first two letters of most months are the same as in English. The exceptions are April and August. So first, the month in French is le mois. Le mois. The months in plural is les mois. Les mois. January, janvier, janvier. February, février, février. March is mars, mars. April, avril, avril. Mai, mai, mai. June, juin, juin. July, juillet, juillet. August, août, août. September, septembre, septembre. October, octobre, octobre. November, novembre, novembre. December, décembre, décembre. Now let's look at the pronunciation of the months more closely. Janvier, January, janvier, janvier. Février, février, février. Mars, fairly straightforward. Mars, April, avril, avril. May, May, May. June, juin, juin. It's a bit nasal. Juin, juin. July, juillet, juillet, juillet. August, août. It's a bit like tooth. Août. September, septembre, septembre. October, octobre, octobre. November, novembre, novembre, novembre. December, décembre, décembre. The months again, faster this time. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Months take the lowercase in French, except if a sentence starts with a month.
That's it from me. Au revoir. We are now done with the French Foundation course. Thank you very much for being part of this journey. Merci, merci beaucoup. I hope the course was what you were looking for and that you've learned a lot and are a bit more confident. We have merely scratched the surface of the French language and there is a lot more to it. I hope you want to continue your learning journey. One last piece of advice before I go, please get yourself a good offline or online dictionary and keep reading, listening, and speaking as often as possible. Bon courage, bonne chance,